Namaste, Jai Bharat. In schools, when we were students, we had fancies about battles and wars. Most of us must have heard the heroic stories, at least in Bharat, those who studied in Bharat. We heard the stories of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Maharana Pratap Singh, Veer Kaur Singh, Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai, and many such people. So many heroic stories we heard. They were all, and of course, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They were all fighting to defend the integrity of the nation soul. I borrow the expression nation soul from Maharshi Sri Aurobindo. He had beautifully presented the concept of nation soul. Anyway, that you get interested in and you become emotional about speaking about Sri Aurobindo and especially nation soul. He wrote so much he has written, such language. Look at his handwriting. Such language, such deep language. To read Aurobindo is always an experience. Two experiences I've had in my life. One is reading Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes. What chaste English. Then Sri Aurobindo. What deep English. What deep English. Each sentence is so pregnant with ideas. My God. That's tremendous. I think those who, if anyone is listening to me at all, that's a question always. I recommend that you must read these two. One is Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle. This detective story, light reading, but the language, chaste English, and Sri Aurobindo, hard reading, tough language, pregnant with thoughts, each sentences, and such philosophical writings, long sentence, of course. So the point is, things change. So those who have these great patriotic feelings have read these war hero stories. So we have in our mind, war means, ancient war means, the king is always on an elephant top, with mahut, everything. And so long as the king is there on the elephant or on a horseback, the army knows that they are forward. They go forward. So people try to hit the king first. And once the king and his flags not seen, the army will know, suddenly feel that they lost leader, and they will go, run, helter-skelter. This used to be a kind of convention in the past. But today's war is altogether different. That's what I was about to talk about. Today's war is altogether different. There is no battle as you envisage in a battlefield. There is no Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra was the most decent war that anyone can ever think of. Dharma Yuddha is literally Dharma Yuddha only. That's Yuddha, war, for the sake of Dharma, plus it's a war based on Dharma. No attack on anyone who doesn't have a weapon in his hand. Allowing the other person to strike. All those norms of ethical warfare that the Hindus used to have. And from time to time, there's a conch shell blowing in the morning to start the battle, and the conch shell gets blown in the evening at a stipulated time to end the battle. With that, everything is over. No anger is carried overnight. There's no personal anger. It's only impersonal war. So, that's the kind of situation that we have in our mind. But modern warfare is entirely different. No one is fighting anyone explicitly, but fights or battle is now instrument oriented mostly. Instrumental. Not in that sense of instrumentality against being intrinsic, but depending upon instruments. There are equipments and instruments. And counter warfare is interesting. If there is an instrument, there is a method of disturbing or destroying or distorting that instrument. Some methods, some techniques, even if I know I don't want to talk about it because it could go against the interest of my nation, because my nation is far advanced in this warfare, this warcraft. There are many methods and techniques. Let me talk about few things. These so-called stealth, invisible and invincible fighter aircraft of US F-35 came into our air defense zone, most likely deliberately to get our air defense tested. Then of course we challenged. This is a normal challenge. Unidentified aircraft, please identify yourself. You are entering the air defense identification zone, so on, so on, so on, so on. Or it's not enough ADIZ. You are entering in our territory. That's normal plain language. Maybe a controller might even say about ADIZ. Then that man is so convinced that poor pilot, or these poor pilots are taken for ride most often by the technocrats. Their nation promises that they are invisible, and you are also invincible because the aircraft in which you are sitting is invincible and invisible. And this poor fellow, youngsters they must be, not very mature people in that sense of the term, by age of maturity, must be good pilots definitely. But then the pilot is a different kind of mind, different set of mind. So he is so convinced. So what he does, he ignores such challenges. Then that man will say, look, I will intercept you. And this man, pilot will convince, he is convinced that he is invisible. He will not bother. Then of course something happens. What happened to the F-35, I don't know. Actually nobody knows. But the F-35 had to cry to reach the ground. So they made a pretext. He must have spoken to his base, and the base must have told him to make some pretext, some story to land. So he said he ran out of fuel. That's what the vice pilot thought at that time in his immense wisdom. Running out of fuel for a sortie or a fighter aircraft until damaged is not a usual thing. They won't run out of fuel. But this is what he said, he's run out of fuel. Absolutely impossible because the flight plans are impeccably created. Those sitting in operations rooms are not idiots and fools, wherever it is. They won't make such a stupid flight plan where a person in the middle of his sortie loses his endurance, shortage of fuel. Impossible. That fellow should be court-martialed if he does that. The person who made the flight plan should be court-martialed because such irresponsible kind of, or his inability. He won't reach there if he is unable, because incapacity or inability, that man would not be making flight plans. He will be sitting and doing something else. Anyway. And this aircraft lands. Well, after landing, such drama, such show, the pilot refuses to leave the side of aircraft. He was instructed, so most likely poor fellow. British man. American stealth fighter F-35 operating from a British aircraft carrier. So they have a sense of discipline, better than the Americans, should be. So he was asked to sit near the aircraft. Who gave the dumb order? Nobody knows. Otherwise, there's a possibility of Indians taking the aircraft and dismantling them and finding out the technology from it. That people do in China, not in Bharat. And these people don't make a difference in distinction between China and Bharat or what? Anyway. So that aircraft was there. Then several teams of the technicians come to repair it and get it airborne. Never got airborne. And finally, though it's reported officially that the aircraft was airborne and then went back and crashed somewhere in between. That's a story. But what otherwise I heard is that they could not take off. So they brought a huge aircraft like some Hercules type, Hercules series, dismantled it in whichever possible manner as fast as they could and dumped it in the Hercules and then carried the whole thing back. That's what I heard. So they could not fly. The point is that. During this period, 2 days after the first incident of the F-35 landing in the southern part of Bharat, this another F-35 trying to enter our area, the area of Bharat, international kind of border, wherever it is, and then he was challenged, but he fled. This time the pilot must have been instructed. They have got some way of finding out whether they are coming or not. We are supposed to be stealth. We are supposed to be invisible and invincible. But then, how did these Indians found out that we are coming? So you go and test yourselves, and if you are challenged, get lost. Pilot had literally followed that. He tried to enter the international border, from the opposite corner. This is from the south. That's from the far east border of Bharat, and he was challenged, he fled. So the point I was trying to make is the warfare is all different now. The warfare is technological warfare. Same thing Iran is doing to other places. They can't have, they don't have this kind of equipment to nullify flying elements or destroy the abilities of radar, make the radars blind. They don't. I don't think they have. But then they have other methods. They destroy the banking systems. So you depend on instruments. You have got technology. You depend on technology, and the technology can take you for a ride if you don't use it appropriately. So the technology attack from Iran had destroyed to some extent the banking systems in the Middle East. I mean the Arab countries. West Asia, I should say, in the Arab countries. Once, these electronic equipments, the electronic methods of transaction is affected, everything goes standstill. We are more vulnerable in Bharat because, unlike many other countries, Bharat is the first nation. They have these UPI transactions. My God, how wonderful it is! 5 years back, we had to carry purses wherever we go and pay currency, and there was nothing unusual at that time. But then we see UPI coming, this interface coming. We scan QR codes and pay, and that everybody has. We all have our personal QR codes in our mobile. Receive money. Send money, but receive money also. When somebody is paying me, I have my mobile. I'll activate my QR code. Now just 2 clicks of a button, the code appears, that man scans it and pays money, it goes to my bank. Wherever this account is linked to whichever bank. So how easy it becomes. And some technical hitch with internet alone can disturb all those things. Even internet getting slowed down can disturb things. We have 5G now running, but if it's disturbed beyond a point, then these actions won't take place. Now suppose the old banking system of card swiping, internet connection, etc., they are there for a long time. And if that is disturbed, then that's a serious threat to the West Asia, the Arab countries, that if Iran can do it, then they will have to face the music. And that's the kind of threat which Iran is giving these days. That people have to face the music if they do it. Well, temporarily though, that will disturb everything and everyone. And war people, especially in case of Iran, they don't know what they are doing. What is said in the Bible, these people don't know what they are doing. Oh Lord, please forgive them. Jesus was talking to his Father. Forgive these people who are trying to kill me, who are trying to go 3 days of Good Friday. They are trying to kill me. And that's a covenant of sacrifice, is a different case. Theological interest, if you have. Read in the covenant of sacrifice, the last one. Covenant of promise, covenant of land, and covenant of sacrifice. 3 promises are supposed to be. from the part of Jehovah to Abraham, the patriarch. Anyway, so these people don't know what they're doing. They're so lost, so confused, they're leaderless, moneyless, with only problems. No one will give any instructions, and everyone gives all kinds of instructions. This Iran is in such confusion. They must thank Islam for creating a mess out of a rich ancient culture which is Persian. We shall meet again. Avasthin language, Farsi language, all greatly disturbed if not destroyed. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Siya Ram.